Hello everyone, we'll give everyone a second to pop in. And we are going to make a page today. So just give everyone a second to pop in and get our audience going. And then we'll get started. If you didn't prep for the class and you just want to watch, that's fine. Otherwise you'll need an ugly piece of paper, 12 by 12, and some 4 by 4 squares and 3.5 by 3.5 squares. But if you're just watching, then hey, welcome. If you're here, say hi. I can see some people are popping in, so say hello, because I love to say hello back and I like to chit chat. I'm in the house all day with 4 kids, 15 to 3. So this is my adult interaction. So this gives me lots of, hi Dawn. This gives me, I feel like I'm in the real world for this hour or half-hour segment 2 or 3 times a week. So, all right, we're going to give everyone, we have already given everyone a chance to pop in. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So today I'm just focusing on a single layout. I think with your creativity and how everyone works really, really well on creating a second page, you could definitely do that without any tidbits from me. So one of the things I had asked you guys to do if you were playing along while I was crafting is to get a 12 by 12 ugly piece of paper. And by that, I just mean something that's not your favorite. This is just some retired cardstock from close to my heart that was sitting in a pile, so let's use it up. Then I said you'll need 9 4 by 4 pieces of paper. I chose to go with cardstock, and so I am using the mix-in collection, the cardstock and the paper, because I've pretty much bashed my stash to the point where I just needed to cut some new paper. Plus it's super pretty. And then I also said you want to cut 9 3.5 by 3.5 squares. Now what I did is I went ahead and cut 4 by 4 squares, and then I'm going to do these 2 on screen, and then I cut the rest of them with my stitch die because it cuts a 3.5 by 3.5. So I have 7 of those done. I have 2 more to do. Then you'll need something that you want to maybe do your stamping on your title on, so I can show you how to do that stamping technique later on. Hi Maria, thank you so much for popping in. So let me show you the stitch die really quick. So this is a whole set of 3, and I'm going to use the 3.5 by 3.5. And I'm just going to run it through these 2 through my paper trimmer. I'm going to do them at the same time, just because I want to cut some time down. Oh, let's get the right plates, eh? Right? Mm-hmm. So today's layout will have, you can have 9 photos if you really wanted to. I've selected 5 photos. The sketch I saw online used 4. Or you could just do 1. Really, honestly, it's personal preference. I'm just going through a couple times since I double layered, since I have 2 pieces of paper in here. If your cutter's better than mine, you probably won't need to do that. So I love how this cuts out. There's my frame. I can save that. I can put that to use later on if I want to, this little leftover piece here. But this just pops out like so. And I'm left with 2 pieces. And then I'm just going to poke out through this little hole right here, my frames. And then here are these. All right. Oops. I'll hope if I grab the other one. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. You don't have to do this. You could just do 3.5 by 3.5. That way will probably be just as stunning as this. Actually, it will be as stunning as this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our ugly paper, and we're going to start by adhering our pieces down. Now, hi Michelle. Thank you so much for popping in. I take it that you were able to get away from work today. on your little lunch break. So that's awesome to have you pop in. I am just trying to talk a little louder right now because my daughter has decided that she needed to come down and have a little tantrum for one reason or another. All right, so I'm going to put these down. Like I said, I did the mix and collection, and so I'm going to end up not doing that because there's no adhesive in there. So I'm going to end up just putting some adhesive around my squares, and we're going to just fill this up just like a grid. Nothing too hard or complicated about this part. You're just going to line up your squares to the top and side edge and fill in all 9 so you have a grid, and you're just going to put it in to however the colors look and feel best to you depending on what you picked. And so that's all I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to try and maybe not put the blues next to each other or the pinks, maybe the dark ones. I'm going to start with my corners, I think, so then I know that I can build up from there. And so then we'll kind of make this, it's going to kind of, in an essence, look like a quilt. So this is linen, and this is the dark side and the light side. It almost looks like White Daisy if you're not really paying attention to what's going on. And I know that I want this to be in the center, just because that's where one of my focal point of my picture is going to be, the one that I really want to focus on. So I know that I want to do that. I'll put this one up here. All right. The easiest part of this whole thing is just, you know, putting these on. I've got some sweet leaf in here, some mint, peach. Let's see. Flip it over. I did the light side, now I'm going to do the dark side. And then I'm also going to pop in and show you, no, I'm going to do this down here. I had it all laid out, and then I got on camera and I'm like, no, I'm going to change it. Why not? Oh, for heaven's sakes. All right, I'm going to put the pink there and then the sweet leaf light side here. So easy enough, right? Nothing too complicated. Probably the most thing is just making sure you get all your stuff straight, right? Oh my goodness. It's not complicated at all, and I'm making it like a big old deal right here. There we go. I just don't want that to show through. Yeah, I'm just making sure. And then put the light right here. Okay. See, everything fits nice. Now we have this nice grid. All right. Yay, you have a few minutes today. I'm so excited. I moved my phone down so I can actually kind of read comments. I can still only read 2 at a time, but so now you're going to come in with your 3.5 by 3.5 squares. Now remember, I've cut mine, so this is 3.5, and then this is the inside, which is 3 by 3. Okay, so part of this I'm going to leave together, and part of it I'm not. So you would take your 3.5 squares, and you're just going to kind of place them where you want them to be, but we're going to do something with them, so don't adhere them down. All I'm doing right now is kind of getting a feel for where I want my colors to go and coordinate. I hope that makes sense. Obviously you won't piece yours together like I'm piecing mine together, because unless you did the square stitched like I did. You can leave it at this, or you can take it to the next level, which is what I'm going to show you in a second here. I'm really excited about how this is going to turn out. I'm thinking, and I'm hoping, it turns out exactly how I think it will. And then I did throw in these pieces right here from the new stitched paper collection, so that's where those are from. Okay, so now what your next step is, once you have an idea of where all of your little squares and things like that are going to go. So that look cute. You can stop here and you can add your pictures. It's cute, it's simple, it's beautiful. But what I'm going to do is I am going to make it like a quilt. And when I say that, I'm going to take each square and I'm going to cut it diagonal and then piece them together. I have decided that I'm not going to cut my frames. I'm just going to quilt the inside pieces. I hope that makes sense. I hope this looks good as it does in my head. In my head, it looks stunning. So I guess we will see really quick. So what I'm going to do is if you just had your whole piece here, you're going to do your whole piece. I'm going to do the inside because I have to be different. So let me make sure this is on camera and you can see me cutting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut my squares, make it look like a diamond. I'm going to cut them in half. I'm going to try and put my blade in the middle, get this lined up, of my paper instead of starting here or here so I don't tear my corners. All right, so now I have one. Of course, I don't have my cutter straight, so I have to use my scissors to finish the cut. That was my fault. This cutter prefers to be level, not straight, level. All right, so now I have my first, and I'm just going to kind of do this for each one of these. Let me see if I can get this nice and level so that it cuts beautiful. And with that, we'll be able to make our quilt. Oops, that might have done it. Like I said, you could stop right where I did and you could just leave it as is, but I think this is going to be, come on, don't move on me. Just stay right where I want you to. Does anybody else have that problem? About to put some adhesive down on it and make it stay. I love this pattern. This is from that Mix-In collection. I love this little pattern right here. The color, I think it's the color combos that make me like the plaid, not so much the design itself. And so I'm trying to take my time, because usually when I'm on here I'm like, wham bam, okay, there you go create. So definitely trying to take my time and slow down for you guys lately. And I have a little bit of time today because my 3-year-old is currently napping. Oh, I have decided, and this is pretty, so you'll watch your orientation on some of these if that matters to you. It doesn't really have to matter if you don't really care one way or the other, but it's going to come out, in my head it's going to come out beautiful. Okay, 2 more. So a question for you guys, besides this group, where does your inspiration for either cards or scrapbooking come from? Where's your main source that you go to when you're in a scrapbook block? And what I mean by that, or a card block, you're like, I don't even know. I need to create, but I don't even know. Where's your one place that you always look to for ideas besides this group? Okay. So now that I have all of my squares, hi Joette, hi Pam, nice to see you. Now I can sit here and I am going to mess them up. Remember, I'm going to leave my frames here. I'm not going to adhere anything down, but I'm just going to kind of look to see maybe which ones play well off of each other and put them together and not put them where the frames are. Remember, I'm trying to make a quilt out of this. And that's all I'm doing. And just having fun with putting these in together. And I'm just tucking them inside my frame. Nothing too crazy. And then once I get like everything down to where I think I want it, then I can start adhering things down. It's just a puzzle piece, however you want it to look. I think that goes there. And you just play with it. Of course, if you didn't use stitch dies like I did and you don't have the frame, your pieces, you won't be marrying them obviously inside of a frame. But I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Now I am going to use the May stamp of the month in this. And when I do that, I'm left with a couple more of these. I'm going to use one of the titles that I think are cute. Okay, I'm okay with how this goes because some of my pictures are going to cover up some of these if I don't really care for them. But I liking where this goes and how this quilt is turning out. Pinterest ideas from old books. Okay, so Pam says one of her research that she goes to find inspiration for her projects is to just flip over an old book and just see what they did. And I agree, that's one of my things that I like to do too. Pinterest, I have so many boards on Pinterest where I see something and I'm like, ooh, I want to make that. And then I go to the blog and they're like, hi, I made this scrapbook page and I used 3 colors. Have a great day. And I'm like, that's probably the one I get. So now I'm just going to try and, my favorite word, center it by eyeballing it. And I'm just literally putting my pieces together. Isn't this cute? This is going to be so stinking cute. And then I know somebody else commented, but the comment went up. That's cute in itself too, to leave it like that. Now, of course, say no, go in there. There we go. Well, it's not going to fit the same, so I'm going to swap it out. I'm going to swap it out with this one. Oh, shh. Say now. Well, I'm going to make it work. I'm just going to make it work. I'm going to go back the way it was. I'm going to make it work. For whatever reason, my square wasn't, I didn't put it in the same, but I'm going to make it work. It'll be fine. All right, let's see. Thanks, Michelle. Yes, Pam, you definitely need to get back into it if you haven't done it for a long time. Those pictures aren't doing any good just sitting down on your desktop. Okay, so I'm going to eyeball this one too, and I'm just repeating that same process and just kind of building my quilt. Inside these boxes. It was really cute before I got on here. I was scrolling Facebook because I had nothing else to do, right? I'm just kidding. And someone had posted a meme and I was like, I now know why May is called May, because it may rain, it may snow, it may be 70, it may be 20. And I had to get a good chuckle out of that because I live in Ohio. And so if you live in Ohio or a state that is like Ohio where you never know what the weather is going to be like, that is just a fair statement about the month of May here, because we are actually predicted to have snow tonight. And I'm like, seriously, it was just 2 days ago, 70 degrees out. So anyways, that really made me chuckle and I thought, oh my gosh. How true is that? So what is the weather like where you are today? And of course, this would be a lot easier if I wasn't using the frames, but you know me, I have to go outside of the box, challenge you guys all to do something just a tad bit different. And these stitched frames are honestly the cutest things ever. They just bring so much personality, I feel, to your project. And just make sure this fits so you don't end up like a shortage over here. looks good. It should be square, but I guess if I didn't cut it quite perfect, I'm going to end up with a little bit of one piece being bigger than the other when I'm marrying it. So keep that in mind when you're putting your pieces together, especially in a frame like this. So we'll just go through. Yeah, hello Rhonda, how are you? Right, Pam? Crazy Ohio. Pam just doesn't live too far from me. All right. See why I told you guys to grab ugly paper, because you were totally not going to see it. And I couldn't see wasting white daisy on this because, you know, we use that all the time. So I'm like, just grab some ugly paper, will ya? That's all you need is some ugly paper. Okay. And then just piecing these together. It's kind of, you know, therapeutic and fun. It's like a little paper jigsaw puzzle, if you will. Okay, we'll fix that one too. So much for slowing down, right? Let me know if you guys have this thin cut set. I'm just curious how many people actually have this in their stash, in their arsenal of scrapbooking, card making supplies. And also, that would be interesting to know. Or, I mean, even if it's not close to my heart, do you have stitched squares anywhere in your arsenal of supplies? Okay, remember in my head I said this was going to look good. So hopefully what I envision and hopefully what transpires by the time we are all finished is the same. So I'm just using this square and this square to line this one up and then throw in my little pieces in there. I'm trying to get them lined up as best as possible. I'm sorry, I forgot I was live for a second and I stopped talking. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. We just crammed like 6 weeks of schoolwork in a week with my stepson. Not a full 6 weeks. Missing assignments, you know, stuff where he was like, oh, I have a C, it's okay. Like, I don't need to do it. And we're like, yeah, you got to do it. So we've been working really, really hard and diligently with him. And so my brain is fried from like researching chemistry and factors for algebra. I'm like, whew, I didn't think I was going to need that again. Seriously. Was it this one? Yeah, because I already have those two. Perfect. So my brain's a little fried. But it was, today was one of his last projects, was to create a 1-minute video on who he was. Like, he had to sell himself like he was doing a job interview. You know, like, why would this employer want you? So he had to kind of come up with something. And just the bloopers on trying to make a 1-minute video were hilarious. We were just dying laughing. I think we spent more time laughing at the bloopers than it took to actually make the one minute, you know, video. So that's how my day was today. Filled with laughter and tears. Okay, caboodle. All right, so we're almost done. This is so cute. I think it's cute. I hope you guys are loving it and loving the idea of where it's going. I have rectangles, but not squares. Okay, Melody, I have a tip for you. You can make that rectangle set work for you to make squares. I promise. Okay. So some of them aren't exactly perfect, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I like to just go with the flow, because at the end of the day, when I put this in my book or you put this in your book, your kids aren't going to be like, seriously, Mom, why did you do that? They're going to be like, oh, look at these pictures. They're going to pay attention to the memories. They're not going to pay attention to anything else. All right. So now is the time when you can figure out your pictures that you want to put on here. And remember I said some of my pictures are going to cover up some of my bloopers. So I wasn't too concerned about some of them. Now, obviously, if you don't do the stitch dies like I did, this would all be one piece, right? So this would all be plaid. So it doesn't matter that I'm covering that up. I'm just doing some photo placement really quick and seeing where things are. So this is for Mother's Day. This is what my page is going to be geared around Mother's Day. So I'll introduce you to this mother. This is my birth mom, and her name is Teresa. And she passed away 2 years ago this past February. And so I'm just going to do a little page that kind of shows her off a little bit. And so I'm going to show you how I used this to stamp and create a shadow, because that's what I want to use for my title on here. And I'm going to do some other cute little things too. So I'm going to put this aside for a second. And I'm going to grab 2 inks. I'm going to grab black and Sweet Leaf. I don't smoke, so I don't know why this faded. You know, sometimes people that smoke, there's white will take on that hues, but I don't know why that did that. So I'm just grabbing an 1 by 12 inch scrap of white daisy. It's nothing super special, and then I can cut it down to how I want it to look afterwards, right? So I'm grabbing my stamp here. Obviously you can see that. I'm inking it up really good, and I'm just using regular black ink, and I'll just stamp right here in the middle so that it's easy for you guys to see. So I'm going to go straight down and straight up, and then clean my stamp off really well, because I do not want to get my black in here. I'm going to come back in with that same stamp. I'm going to do the Sweet Leaf. And you remember all those times when you're supposed to stamp directly where you just stamped before, so that it's perfect and, you know, everything goes great together, right? Well, here's the time when you can offset your stamp. Sorry if my head gets in the way, but I gotta kind of see a little bit. And so you just want to come in just slightly and then stamp down. And what that does is that kind of gives you a little bit of a shadow stamp. How cute is that? So I love that. Now, on a page like this, you could definitely, you know, make this work as a huge title for you. I, like I said, have already done that. I'm just going to put this off to the side. I want a small, simple tag to go on this page for my mom and I. And I also want to kind of offset some of my pictures, because I just want to get a little glimpse of that pattern that's underneath of there. This is a total preference. Like you know, at this point, this is me doing what works for my page, not what works for your page. And I don't mean that in any disrespect, but you know, this is personal preference. This is how you put your pages together. But this is kind of plain for me, and I would like to douse it up. So I didn't do any extra cutting, I promise. This is just scrap from all the stuff that we have done so far in this group. I'm still not adhering my photos down yet. And so I brought in, do you remember when we did this, I did the squares on the ladybug page or whatever? These are my leftovers. And so I brought this in, and so that I can do embellishments. So I have several different squares on here, 4 of them to be exact, to embellish. So I have circles from making the shaker cards when we did the tunnel card in the beginning of this group. Hi Dawn, thanks for popping in. And things like that. So I've just kind of brought these in so that I can embellish this and make little tags. So I've grabbed some just scrap, literally just scrap. And so I'm just going to do like 1 or 2 blocks to give you some ideas on how to, and I'm just going to take some of these off because I'm not quite sure how I want to put those on just yet. How I'm going to embellish some of these. So if you see the stitched paper, it has this candy apple red in it, so that's why I brought this over. And I'm just going to do a couple of dovetails here. Like I said, I'm just going to decorate a couple of these squares to give you some inspiration. And you can bring your paper trimmer back in. It doesn't have to be, if you're not good at cutting straight like me. I need a paper cutter. You can bring that in and do that. So I'm just going to do some banners on one of them, or maybe 2 of them. And I chose more like solid colors to help offset because of the busy patterns. So nothing too crazy. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. And I could do it all the way across. I can build it up in one corner. Whatever works well for me. I could hide this whole blunder by doing a whole strip right there and then putting those down on top like that. I think I will do that. So you just have to kind of play with you know, what you're working with and what you got. Like I said, I didn't cut anything special. I just literally, when we're creating on this page, I cut something, I literally just toss it off camera. And it pretty much stays there until I need to make it work. So now I can just come in. Need a lot of adhesive. And I'm going to put this over here and just build up. This is like a little embellishment. I can come in with a heart or dots or diamonds or whatever I want. And kind of, so now I have one square that's been embellished. And I know that like I had a picture there, but I don't think I'm going to put that picture there. I think I'm going to figure something else out with that. So definitely you can do that. Just grab your scraps and start cutting. You can grab some, these are the smallest stitched squares that they have available, and this is cute too. I've got my picture here. I can come in like this. I don't think I would do that on black, but I'm just trying to give you some ideas. I can come in like this, just many different things. I know this picture is going to go here, and I do know that I want to doodle around the I love you. So I'm going to do that really quick and adhere this down. So I hope you guys have plenty of stuff in your stash to do this, because it is a really good stash buster to make a quilt or something of that nature. And of course, if you don't have, say now, a full piece, and you know that you're going to cut triangles, you could do that. This is from my wedding, obviously, just in case you didn't catch that. And so I'm just trying to think about where I want to place it. What do you guys think? Any opinions where you want me to place the title? I'm going to leave it here and wait to see if anybody pops in with any other titles. I have all of these pretty zip strips that I can come in and use. And of course I could just do 3 pictures at the top or something like that, or maybe like one down here, like a tic-tac-toe. I don't know, we'll think. Oh, this is kind of cute. Maybe not. It's kind of busy. Here we go. Get like a tic-tac-toe. So then I can come in and embellish all my other 4 corners of my page. So I think I'm I think I'm happy with this layout. I think I'm going to go ahead and adhere my photos down. And then I can practice. I really want to spend some time embellishing these four corners and just really making them pop. And I do know that one of these I want to use as a journaling block so that I can kind of tell this little story about what's going on here and just finish up with the center photo that's in here. Because yeah, you can tell that it's my mom and it's my birthday, but there's a lot more history there than just what these pictures signify. So I hope you guys enjoyed this layout and that you get crafty. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. You're so talented. And I'm blessed that you guys allow me to interrupt your day 3 or 2 times a week to come in with whatever's rolling around in my head and letting me spit it out on camera. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. And we are very close to being halfway through with 100 days. So make sure that if you are not caught up, that you don't worry about it. You just jump in wherever you are and get crafty. I will see you guys on Tuesday, and we'll be back tomorrow for our virtual crafty Zoom meeting on Saturday. So you guys have a wonderful Friday. Enjoy time with your family. Stay safe. And if you live in Ohio, stay warm. Bye, guys.